Hi guys, welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. Still no football to preview, of course. The Premier League still suspended whilst we are in this, whatever you would call it, pandemic, while we're struggling with this coronavirus. There has been an update. The Premier League announced yesterday, as I'm sure we all sort of guessed would have happened, that they've suspended the season until April the 13th. Now, obviously, it was initially suspended until the 4th of April, I believe it was, first weekend in April. They've now further suspended it until, at the very, very least, the 30th of April. But again, I fully assume that come mid-April, they'll again announce that it's being suspended further. They're just trying to put a date on it to, as an earliest date. But they have announced that it's suspended until at least the 30th of April now. I just want to say before we go any further into the live stream, we were meant to be doing a FIFA video today, a FIFA live stream or a FIFA video, one of the two. I put the software on my computer and I managed to mess about with it and get it working and stuff. I had to download Windows 10 and do all of this crap. But it's struggling to keep up with the frame rate of the PlayStation at the moment. It's lagging a little bit, so it's working, it's there, but it's just, I'm not too sure my computer's powerful enough. The processor in my computer's not brilliant anyway, to be perfectly honest with you, and it actually says on the website of this capture card that it needs a faster processor to work properly, basically. But I've got a load of sort of background programs and things running in the background from things that I put on the computer years ago. I've had the computer nearly 8 years. It's got all my schoolwork and everything on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, when I get a moment over the weekend or before Monday, I'm going to try and go through all of the background sort of programs, remove them, delete anything that's on there that I really don't need, such as essays, and I had to do loads of filming for film studies in school, so loads of stuff like that I don't need. Get rid of all of that, try and sort of clean the computer out as much as possible, and then see if it'll work a little bit smoother, because I was going to go live stream the FIFA, but I put it up and it was jolting a little bit and it was moving about and my face was responded about 15 minutes after I'd said the sentence. So I thought, no, you know what, well, come on, there's a lot of things to talk about today, to be honest. So it's not like we're just going to be sitting here scraping the battle. There's a lot of things we want to talk about. I want to talk about Everton in the community, and once again why they are simply the best organisation, the best charity in the world, and why Everton again are the best football club in the world. We'll be talking about their new campaign that they've launched called the Blue Family. We're also going to be talking about the new stadium, as well as a couple of transfer rumours as well. So I suppose we'll go in straight away into talking about Everton in the community and the new hashtag Blue Family campaign. So Everton in the community announced yesterday, obviously after we all knew that they were sort of calling around the elderly members of the community and elderly season ticket holders, etc., to make sure that they were okay and they didn't need anything and they had somebody to talk to, obviously, whilst the government's advice is for the older elderly people over 70s, I believe it is, to remain sort of isolated during this pandemic. So Everton in the community announced yesterday that they've launched Blue Family, which is a coordinated outreach and engagement campaign to maintain contact with fans and provide support to some of the most vulnerable, socially isolated and at-risk members of the community in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. And as soon as I read this, as soon as I heard this, I just smiled, because I just thought, how proud I am of my football club. How incredibly proud I am to say I support Everton Football Club, to say that I've grown up supporting this club and I will support this club for the rest of my life. We can literally not be rivaled for the work that we do in the community. Like I said on Wednesday's live streams, a lot of football clubs will have seen this pandemic, will have, read about the coronavirus, will have realised the impact that it's going to have financially on them, and will have, got into a mass panic about how they're going to bring in income and how they're going to pay the players, etc. What Everton have done is gone, actually, let's think about how this is going to affect the fan base. Let's think how this is going to affect the community. And obviously launching hashtag Blue Family campaign is so fantastic, and it is so heartwarming to see, because, it's good and it's positive, and it's relieving to hear that Everton will be contacting those elderly members of the community. There's a lot of season ticket holders at Goodison Park that will be isolating themselves at the moment because of the coronavirus. There's a lot of season ticket holders, there's a lot of Evertonians that will be at risk of contracting the coronavirus and may or may not have underlying health issues, which means that it could affect them worse than others. So it's absolutely fantastic to see Everton and Everton in the community together launching a programme that that allows them to contact fans and allows them to contact members of the community and just make sure they're okay. We've already seen, since it was announced last night, that Leighton Baines has contacted a lady, and Seamus Coleman's contacted the man as well, just by over the phone, simply a phone call, just to talk to these people, see how they are, see how they're doing, have general conversation with them. And I was thinking about this before. We spoke about this massively on Wednesday, and I don't want to again talk too much about it because I don't want to be repeating myself, but this pandemic, what it looks like is going to be a lot of the nation sort of, you know, self-isolating, locked in the houses, whether that means working from home, whether that means not being able to go to work. But there's going to be a lot of people that are, you know, are going to be sort of socially taken away at the moment because the government want less and less people on the streets, obviously, to stop the spread of the virus. It's going to massively affect the mental health of a lot of people, because if you think about it, if you're stuck in your house 24/7 for, you know, a period of time that we're not even sure how long it's going to be, some people say 14 days, 21 days, however many, you know, we don't know how long this is going to be. So if the country does go into lockdown, which is looking more and more likely as the days go on, Boris Johnson today announcing that he's shutting all the pubs and restaurants and all of that sort of stuff, then there's a lot of people that are going to be affected by this in terms of their mental health, not just the coronavirus and the virus itself and what will happen if they can sack that, but also, you know, the mental health aspect of it, and, you know, being stuck indoors and not being able to do much, not being able to go to the gym, not being able to get outside, not being able to sort of socialise in theatres and cinemas, etc., that a lot of people will have liked to done. And I was thinking before, you know, if you've had a really, really shit day, and if you're sitting in your house and you're not able to get out and you've not had to do much, and you've sat and you've watched Netflix all day, but you're bored of it now because you've done it for the last 2 weeks, and all of a sudden your phone goes and you pick it up and it's Seamus Coleman, or it's Leighton Baines, or it's Duncan Ferguson, or it's Graham Sharp, and you're a diehard Evertonian. Imagine how uplifting that's going to be. Imagine how much of a positive impact that's going to have on your day and your mental health ultimately as well. And it's not like the players are doing an awful lot at the moment. Yes, they've got individual training regimes, which we've spoken about before. Yes, they'll be doing bits and bobs, you know, to keep themselves fit, but for the majority of the time they're going to be sat in their houses watching Netflix, playing the PlayStation, doing what a lot of people will be doing. So it's fantastic that the club and everyone in the community have seen an opportunity there to think, well, you know what, whilst the players aren't doing much, why don't we get them to phone a couple of fans? Why don't we take a couple of phone numbers from fans that, you know, are season ticket holders, have been for a long time, the elderly community that, you know, have been going to Goodison Park all their life? Why not take a couple of their phone numbers from the system, give them to Leighton Baines, give them to the you know, the PR team at the club, and say to Baines, you know, Tom Davis, Seamus Coleman, Jordan Pickford, Graham Sharp, Duncan Ferguson, Carlo Ancelotti, say, yeah, give these people a call. You only have to stay on the call 5-10 minutes. It's not like you're going to be there for 2.5 hours. Well, they might be, but I assume it's just a quick 5-10 minute call to fans, and the impact, the positive impact that will have on a fan after receiving a phone call from somebody like Leighton Baines or Seamus Coleman, as we've seen over the last 24 hours, is going to be fantastic, and it's going to be massive. And it's, like I said, for me, one of the big things I've been thinking about during this pandemic and during this outbreak isn't just what's going to happen if you contract coronavirus and how bad is it going to affect people and how dangerous is it and how, you know, deadly is it, which ultimately is you know, the thing that's being sort of plastered all over social media, and rightly so. But I think what's going under the carpet a little bit is the effect that it's going to have on people's mental health if they are stuck behind their house and they can only go out for a certain period of time and they can't see their parents or their grandparents or their children. That's going to have a massive effect on people. So the fact that, you know, the Everton players, the Everton staff can pick up the phone and talk to members of the community, to fans, to season ticket holders, and just lift their spirits a little bit, obviously is fantastic. And again, like I've said time and time again, you know, we mightn't be the greatest footballing side on the pitch. You know, we mightn't have had the best luck over the last 15 years, and we mightn't have put in the best performances, but I'm telling you now, off the pitch, we cannot be rivaled. There's simply no football club better than our own. And you might say I'm biased, you might say I'd say that because I'm an Evertonian, but I honestly believe, even if you take the bias out of it, which is hard to do, I honestly believe there's not one football club in the world that is a better football club than Everton Football Club, and that looks after its fans and its community as much as we do. And again, we've seen that with the Blue Family, with the hashtag Blue Family campaign. Of course, you can read more about the hashtag Blue Family campaign. Go over to Everton's official Twitter, go over to Everton in the Community Twitter. You can read more about what's going on there and the plans they've got for it as well. So, like I said, absolutely fantastic to see that. Really, really heartwarming, and it does make you smile when you're seeing videos of diehard Evertonians on the phone to, you know, players that they've watched and they've idolised over the last 10 or 15 years, you know, Seamus Coleman and Leighton Baines, whatever you may think of the performances in recent times, or whether they're not, you know, they should have their contract renewed, that's totally out the question. Them two players, for me, are two Everton legends, two players that both had opportunities to leave in the prime of their career to go and join Bayern Munich in Seamus Coleman's case, Manchester United in Leighton Baines' case. If Leighton Baines, wanted to play for Manchester United, he'd have been playing there now and he'd have won Europa Leagues, he'd have won FA Cups, because Manchester United were willing to give us anything we wanted for Leighton Baines, but he turned around and said, no, I support Everton and I want to play for Everton and I want to remain here. Seamus Coleman, very, very similarly, both players that come in, we didn't pay an awful lot for, and they're absolute Everton legends, and to see videos of fans who are down in the dumps, who may be suffering from symptoms, who may have tested positive for the virus, or may simply just be self-isolating due to somebody else who they know has supplied symptoms, and they're simply stuck behind their house and are feeling a little bit low. To see those fans get an uplift and a smile on their face because they're receiving phone calls from the likes of Baines and Seamus Coleman is obviously, it's really, really heartwarming. It's fantastic to see, and you know, it's great as well, because there's going to be a lot of people that are affected by this virus that aren't affected necessarily because they've displayed symptoms or they've tested positive for it, but affected because, for example, the company that they work for had to shut, so they've been made redundant. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter already that have said, I haven't displayed symptoms, I feel perfectly fine, but I've been sacked basically from my job because of the whole outbreak and because, you know, the company have had to shut down, etc. So again, I don't have to sit here and talk about how much I think Everton in the community are fantastic and how brilliant I think they are, because you all know I sit here pretty much every single time we live stream and talk about it. If you're new, if you just joined us, first of all, please do leave a like, because it means a massive amount to me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. If you've just joined us and you're wondering, where's the FIFA? Why is this knobhead just talking once again? I'm sick of hearing him sit here with Bernard to his left and Charleston to his right talking. Where's the FIFA? Where's the entertainment? I've tried to put FIFA. I've tried to do FIFA today. I've set up the capture device on my computer with the application and feeding it through to the PlayStation and all that technical sort of palaver. And basically what I've realised is my computer's just a little bit too slow at the moment to handle the quality and the graphics of the PlayStation. So it may be because the processor in the computer's pretty crap, which it is. In that case, that's a bigger issue, because I'm going to have to then purchase a better processor. And we all know, if you know any stuff about computers, you know it's not just a simple case of purchasing a new processor and plugging it in. You've got to then replace everything. But I'm hoping that I've got a lot of background sort of programs that have been running pretty much since I've got the computer, because I've had this computer for nearly 8-9 years, so I've been using it for schoolwork, and I've got games on it that I used to play on it. So what I'm going to do over the weekend, and when I get a spare moment, is try and remove all the stuff I don't need, free up a bit of space, and then hopefully it'll make the application perform a little bit better, and then we may be able to bring a FIFA video on Monday or live stream, depending on that. Anyway, we'll get into the live comments in just a moment. I'm not ignoring everybody, do not worry. If you're watching, by the way, live, share the stream, get it shared on your social medias. Let's get as many people in here as possible. Let's obviously carry on the conversation. Talking about the stadium now, of course. There's been a lot of talk, obviously, about the stadium. A lot of positive talk recently about the stadium and how it could revitalise and re-energise sort of the economy surrounding Liverpool, especially after this sort of global pandemic. But a key important bit of news regarding the stadium is that the deadline for any comments, any criticisms, any sort of comments that you wanted to put across to the City Council and to Everton regarding the stadium and the planning application and where it's going to be and how it's going to affect the seafront, etc., the seafront, the riverfront, etc., the ability to do that closed at 5 p.m. today. So that's really, really interesting, of course, and good news, because it means now that the City Council, whilst reviewing the planning permission, they'll be able to look at the comments and some of the positive comments and some of the constructive criticism as well that they've received regarding the stadium. So obviously that was today, so that's massive news as well. Anyway, before we go into talking about transfer news, transfer updates, whatever you want to call it, we're getting the live comments. Gord says, I also give props to the social media teams that really interact with the fans. Exactly, and again, it's not just Everton. Let's not, be blind to it. It's not just Everton Football Club that social media teams have been fantastic during this period. It's not just Everton, but Everton specifically have been great. Obviously, getting players to do little home videos, to just build positivity, and we spoke massively. If you missed Wednesday's live stream, go and check it out. We speak massively about how important it is to be positive during this time, and how if you can find absolutely anything that makes you positive, whether it be watching films, whether it be singing, whether it be listening to music, whether it be making YouTube videos, whatever makes you positive, do it at this moment in time, because we need as much positivity in the world as we can possibly get. RP2245 says, hi Cam, watching from Washington DC. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate that. He also says, do you know if coronavirus will affect the start of the construction and opening of Bramley-Moore? I don't. Obviously, it's something that has been brought up and has been questioned surrounding Bramley-Moore and stuff, and a lot of Evertonians are sort of a little bit worried now. What I would say is the initial... Obviously, the planning permission still hasn't officially been accepted yet. That's still in the works. So there's no start of construction until that's accepted. I believe the initial date, if I can remember correctly, which my memory's crap, so I probably can't, but I believe the initial date was July this year for the construction to start. I think they're probably sort of calm at the moment and waiting to see if there's any positives by July this year, and whether the virus is sort of being isolated, and whether we've even managed to to completely isolate it and people are allowed to go back and back to work, etc. So because it's not until July, because it's not next month or the month after, I think they're still remaining hopeful. So we don't know for certain yet if it'll affect it, but I'm sure we'll get an update over the next couple of months or so. Hernandez says, RP2245, I'm in DC too, stay safe mate. Brilliant stuff. Wayne says, tough times mate, us Blues stick together like glue, we'll look after one another, no one gets left behind, best club in the world. Exactly, you couldn't be more right there. Eugene says, what do you think of the Premier League doesn't start until the 30th of April? I don't think it'll start at the 30th of April as well, to be honest with you. I think again, halfway through April they'll push that back, because there's, I really don't think, don't get me wrong, we may be in a better position than we are now come mid-April or the 30th of April, but I definitely don't think we're going to be in a position to allow 50,000 people to be in one confined space. Multiple groups of 50,000 people, because there'll be multiple games on throughout the country. And Ethan says, thoughts on Donnarumma and could we get him? Well, we're going to talk about it now. I believe it was Wednesday night. There was an announcement, or there was a rumour going round, might have been Thursday morning. Gazzetta dello Sport, who we know are an Italian publication, one of the publications that linked pretty much every Italian player or player who plays in the Italian league to Everton in January after Carlo Ancelotti come in. They reported yesterday that Everton are interested in 21-year-old AC Milan goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma, or Donnarumma, however you would pronounce his name. I think it's a really interesting rumour. If it's true, if Carlo Ancelotti is interested in bringing a goalkeeper in, I could see Donnarumma as being a name that is definitely on his list. Obviously, he's young, he's Italian, he'll know a lot about the player. He's also got a lot of experience as well. Don't let the fact that he's 21 years old throw you off. He's been playing first team football for AC Milan pretty much since he was 16 years old, and we know that includes European football, Europa League, etc. Playing in the Serie A, playing for a massive club in front of a lot of fans since he was a kid, effectively. So he has got an awful lot of experience. He's not having the greatest time in Italy at the moment. It would probably cost us a fair bit of money if we were to purchase him. I'm saying upwards of 25-30 million pound, probably looking at a similar fee to what we pay for Jordan Pickford. So if we are to bring somebody like Donnarumma in, if Carlo Ancelotti is looking to bring a goalkeeper like that in, I would only assume that he would be wanting to either move Jordan Pickford on or pay a lot of money for a serious competitor to Jordan Pickford. But for me, I think, if we were looking at a goalkeeper like that, if we were looking at bringing somebody like him in, I think it wouldn't be more than likely that, the idea would be to move Jordan Pickford on and then bring him in as a younger sort of replacement who potentially may have the potential to be better than him. But like I said, he's not having a great time in Italy at the moment. Prior to the coronavirus outbreak, I don't just say that because football's off and there's a massive outbreak in the world and it's affecting Italy a lot. I mean, footballing wise, before the outbreak of the virus, he wasn't having a great time. Obviously, it's tough for young players that have been, that have played professionally and have been experienced for so long, despite the fact that they're so young. We're kind of seeing it a little bit with Tom Davies as well. I'm going to sneeze, which is why I'm moving my mouth to try and not sneeze. That was, if you said that was a little Goodison Gladys Street sign that's fell off the wall there. It's all gone bonkers. We're just rolling with it at the moment. We're just rolling with it. But like I said, I find it difficult sometimes, and we're seeing it a little bit ourselves with Tom Davies. Tom Davies, 21-year-old lad who effectively should only be starting his Everton career now. We should be seeing Tom Davies on the team sheet. We should be seeing Tom Davies on the bench thinking, oh, where's that, that 21-year-old lad who's got loads of potential and could be the next big thing. But instead, we're looking at Tom Davies and thinking, here's a player that's been in and around the first team for the last 2 or 3 seasons now, and he's not improving, etc. Very similar to with Donnarumma. Not saying that he's not improving, but in terms of the fact that he's a young player that even a 21-year-old goalkeeper that in any other circumstance you'd look at and go, God, he mustn't have much experience, he must be the next big thing, he must be the up-and-coming sort of prospect. Realistically, AC Milan fans and football fans across the world now are sort of looking at him thinking, well, yeah, okay, he's still 21 and he's got a lot of potential and he's got a massive future, but he's been playing football now for, what, 3, 4, 5 years now, professionally, so he's got that experience. So, again, it can be negative because it does halt the progression of certain players in certain positions if they've got a lot of experience at such a young age. But I think he's a good goalkeeper. I really, really do think he's a good goalkeeper. You wouldn't be AC Milan's number 1 from 16 years old onwards if you weren't a good goalkeeper. Whether or not I honestly believe Everton are interested in him, I'm not going to lie, I don't think we are. I don't think at the moment Carlo Ancelotti's looking for a replacement number 1 goalkeeper. I think he's potentially looking for another goalkeeper to come in and maybe rival Jordan Pickford and maybe give him a little bit of a kick up the arse, if you will. But I don't think he's looking for a goalkeeper that's going to come in and completely replace him. And I think if we were to bring in somebody like Donnarumma in, he would be to completely replace Jordan Pickford because it would cost us that amount of money. We couldn't afford to really bring in a goalkeeper like that and just have him sat on the bench. So in terms of that one, obviously, again, it's coming from a news outlet. It's coming from a source that got a lot of things wrong in January and linked a lot of players with Everton and informed us that a lot of players were going to sign for Everton in January and they didn't. Again, it's an Italian publication that we spoke massively about during the January transfer window. These Italian newspapers and Italian news sources seem to just be linking every single Italian player or player who plays in the Italian league with a move to Everton because of the links with Carlo Ancelotti. So that's definitely worth sort of thinking about when you're reading into these transfers and when you're looking at these transfer rumours. You have to think about where they're coming from and where, whichever the source is, has this source got sort of a reputation for just throwing random names into rumours and into headlines before. Talking about another source from Italy and another transfer rumour, Corriere dello Sport, who are, again, I assume Della Sport means of sport or sport magazine or sport paper or whatever, but Corriere dello Sport have again reported and have been reporting this story for months and months now, consistently throughout January, throughout February, and now I've seen it a couple of times this month as well. Corriere dello Sport have rumoured, put a transfer rumour out saying that Carlo Ancelotti has already asked for Napoli midfielder Allen and asked for him quite frequently during the January transfer window, and apparently he will continue to ask until he basically gets, and he will continue to ask through the summer. Now this one, I think we should pay a little bit more attention to. The Donnarumma stuff is something that has just come out the blue randomly on Thursday night from a news publication that is notorious for randomly putting, Italian players' names in the hat with a move to Everton, especially since Carlo Ancelotti's joined the club. But the rumour regarding Allen is a little bit more interesting. The reason I think it's a little bit more interesting, well, it's a couple of reasons really. One, it seems to be the same newspaper reporting it consistently, and two, we're seeing it more and more often. I often say with transfer rumours, the only real ways to determine whether they've got any meat to them or you should take any notice of them is if the source have got previous transfer rumours right and they're sort of accurate on previous transfer rumours, and if they keep popping up, and if they're just the sort of a one-off thing and they go away. So I would expect with the Donnarumma stuff, we probably won't hear about that again now. That'll probably have just been a one-off rumour and we probably won't hear from it again. We'll be linked with another Italian goalkeeper next week. The stuff with Allen we've seen is coming up constantly, consistently, and that for me means that if they're pulling this story out consistently, and obviously we know Carlo Ancelotti's managed Allen before when managing Napoli, we know he's a midfielder, we know he's the type of player that he would like. The only thing that sort of goes against that is his age. But if they're reporting this story consistently, then there must be something in it, even if it's just something as little as Ancelotti likes the player and favoured the player at Napoli and said that he could potentially move him on. Even if it's something as small as that, there's obviously something in there because the publication are continuously reporting that this player is liked by Carlo Ancelotti, and Carlo Ancelotti wants to bring him to Everton. They're not reporting that Everton have bid anything. They're not reporting that the player wants to leave. They're just reporting that Carlo Ancelotti is looking for a midfielder, A, and B is interested in Alan because he liked him when he was at Napoli. So that one I pay a little bit more attention to, but again, it's still just a transfer rumour at the moment. And finally, regarding transfer rumours, the Liverpool Echo have rumoured today that apparently defender Gabriel is on Everton's shortlist. We spoke about Gabriel on Monday, I believe it was, and we spoke about how, again, you know, he's another player, a little bit like Alan, that we're seeing consistently rumoured, we're seeing consistently linked with the football club. So that's another rumour that, again, you probably want to keep an eye out on. If you're interested in transfer rumours and stuff like that, I know a lot of people simply just don't give a shit until the player's standing at Finch Farm with an Everton shirt, and that's completely understandable and completely fair enough. But that's probably another one you'd want to keep your eye on, because, again, it's a player that's keeping propping up consistently. Okay then, where are we? Wayne says, we need the new keeper. I'm done with Pickford. It makes too many mistakes. We ain't achieving nothing with Pickford in goal. Maybe, but I really don't think Carlo Ancelotti wants to sign a new first team goalkeeper, if I'm being honest with you. Or number one goalkeeper, should I say. Wayne says, Wayne bro, where you been? How you doing? Wayne also says, hello chat, Cam, how's everyone doing? I'm not too bad, mate, I'm not too bad, I hope you're doing well yourself. Kev says, I left 2 tickets for an Everton game on the sideboard. When I came home, there were 4 tickets. Good joke, Kev. Gord says, there will be other clubs that will be willing to pay more than what Everton will pay for Donnarumma. That's another interesting point in regards to that rumour. It's not just Everton that are interested. Tottenham are apparently interested, as well as numerous clubs surrounding Europe as well. The one thing that makes the rumour really interesting is that his agent is Mino Raiola, who we know is the agent of Moise Kean, and we know has got a pretty good relationship with Everton Football Club, and quite favours Everton Football Club. So if we were to be interested in Donnarumma, or Donnarumma, however you pronounce it, and Carlo Ancelotti was the one to bring him in, I think one thing that will go in our favour is his agent. But whether we're really interested or not, we'll just have to wait and see. Using says, do you think Everton will get into Europe next season? I don't know. We don't know what next season in terms of. Yeah, I think we'll get into it next season, but we simply don't know what's going to happen, do we? It depends what we do in the summer in terms of transfers. Wayne says, don't take any notes of transfer rumours. There you go. Wayne says, Donnarumma, wasn't she an 80s pop star? Don't know, mate. I don't know. I wasn't about, unfortunately. Kev says, sign that keeper on Footy Manager. Wayne says, I hope we don't get Alan and would prefer we sign a player that's a bit younger. I think he is 13. They would want between 30 and 40 million. That's very, very true. They would. And again, his age is probably the only thing that may be putting off Evertonians and potentially putting off Marcel Brands as well. RP says, Fernandez, you too, nice to see a fellow at DC Evertonian. Uden says, what do you think Everton will finish in the Premier League this season? I don't even know if the Premier League will finish, mate, to be honest with you. I still think that they're going to null and void it, to be honest, which means we'd finish, 12th, 11th, whatever we are at the moment. And Wayne says, Everton have already said we won't pay 60 or 70 million for players, so we're being linked to big deals, forget them. They're BS, that's a very, very good point as well. And Eugene says, I think Everton will finish 7th and get Europa League next season. I hope so, mate, I hope so, but hopefully we do the business in the summer. We get rid of some of the dead wood, and we bring in some real quality, and then we see where we are after that. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's live stream. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. Like I said, I'm going to try and sort of go through my PC over the next couple of days and try and eliminate the programs that are slowing the Elgato system down, and hopefully by Monday we may be able to get a smooth FIFA video out for you, or a smooth FIFA live stream. So I'll keep you up to date on our Twitter at MightyBluesYT with that, so don't forget to follow us there. Follow us on Instagram as well, Mighty Blues EFC. And yeah, basically that's it for today. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Don't forget, stay safe. Listen to the advice that you're being given in regards to the outbreak. If you're showing symptoms, stay at home. And like I said, I wish everybody the sort of well. And I hope everybody is doing well in terms of their health and their well-being and their mental health, which is massive as well. And we'll get through this together as a human race. We will, but it's just a matter of sort of when. Wayne says, is everything okay on your side, Cam, or still ducking the corona? Yeah, we're all okay, to be honest with you, mate. Couple of colds going around, but I've had a cold for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I haven't got the symptoms of the coronavirus. So yeah, we're all alright, mate. I hope you're doing well on your side. And Wayne says, have a good weekend, peeps. Swift corona, yeah. Thank you very much for joining tuning in for watching. If you're watching as a YouTube video, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're watching live, massive thanks for getting involved as per usual. Massive thanks to everybody in the live comments. Women says hit the like, has 96p's. Thank you very much if you could. Yeah, if you could hit that like button, it'd mean a massive amount to me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Join us on Monday, 5:15, regardless of whether it's a FIFA live stream or another live stream like this. We will be live at 5:15. Follow us on Twitter, like I said, to keep up to date with the story regarding whether we can get FIFA working or not. Big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.